First off, subscribe to the fl0m Clips and Highlights channel. Thank you. Let's get right into it. Siuhy joins Liquid on loan. Important to know that it's on loan, right? So it's until the end of the major. Like, kind of wild, right? Kind of. It's interesting. There's a lot there, dude. I'm just surprised that Liquid is being this bold. And I'm gonna be real. I'm really happy about it. I think some people are like, I could sit here and flame Liquid for all the choices that they're doing all the time and probably farm some easy, impressions by doing so. But I'm glad they did this. I'm really glad that they did this, because this to me at least implies that Liquid isn't just content with being the best Americas team. Now, obviously, I realize that's bold with just two Canadians. I get it. But hey, the coach, US now. No, but I'm just saying, like, they could easily have just coasted through, right? Like, and just said, F it, we're doing, look, just so you guys see. So they could have just like chilled, right? They could take their auto invite, call it a day to the major, phone it in, right? So I like that they're doing something to try to like make the team better and essentially push themselves forward rather than just like collect the major stickers. Do you think it was Twist not wanting the IGL anymore, or you think it was the org? I think probably both, and I also think that time will tell, right? Like, we probably won't know for a while what really like went down, but what I will say is I do wonder if Twist IGLing is more a product of who they could acquire now more rather than, so, like, I believe that Twist wants and wanted to IGL, but I also believe that maybe Liquid didn't have the right pieces or the right potential players to pick up, so that's why they went this route instead. So it's kind of a bit of both, where now maybe Twist feels like this is the best available player on the market, so it doesn't make sense for him to IGL, if that makes sense. And I think that's good logic. The only downside now is I feel like a lot of players that pick up the IGL role then try to go back to just like thinking for themselves. I think that's really hard to do. I think that's really difficult to do. Not many players, I don't know if any, have like really gone to IGL and then gone back and then picked up right on their old form. They still have a firepower issue, right? Twist, when Cadian was there, was doing really well. That's kind of why I'm also like glass half full rather than empty here, is because when Cadian was IGLing, even though they had their issues, Twist was going absolutely insane. He was like averaging a 1.2, 1.25, if I'm remembering correctly. That's why I'm more optimistic about him being able to just like frag heavy. Plus, with the addition of Nerds, I think Twist and Nerds is a fantastic rifle duo. Like, with no disrespect to JKS, it's, and we'll wait for JKS, but with those two in mind, like, it's really strong. Now it's like, can Naf get back to his form before, like, because if we look at Naf, he's been buns, right? There's no, like, absolute cheeks, right? Like, let's not sugarcoat it, but he was really good last year, right? I think this is still there too. So I think there's been a lot of problems with this current iteration of Liquid, and I think it's more of a composition, and that's where we'll lead into JKS. So for all the people that are, I said this in the last one, I'm just going to reiterate it if you didn't watch the last video, or if you just got in here and haven't heard my JKS is not being kicked because he's bad. He's being kicked because it doesn't make sense for him to be in this roster while Naf is here. And they need other options that make more sense in terms of play styles. I'm not even going to say roles. I'm going to say literal play styles. They need more. This is not because he's bad. He just keeps going into teams where he's trying to be on a team and fight. Like, honestly, I feel bad for JKS because he just wants to play tier 1 CS. But every situation he's going into, he's kind of like the odd man out. And when push comes to shove, he's not so impactful in trying to make it all work that they want to keep him, and he's usually outside looking in. And yeah, I would rather gamble on Naf than JKS, but they've been kind of performing similarly, while JKS has been a bit more of a team player. Not to mention, let's be real, keeping Naf ensures that you can continue to try to play around with that Americas invite, which is a lot easier and better for majors. So it has less to do with JKS being a problem in any sense of the way, more so he's just not the solution. That's all. And he's getting caught up in that, and that kind of sucks. Now, I think if Twist can, there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, but Twist, Naf, and Nerds can be a really good rifle core. And we'll see. If that all comes together, then we're going to be all eyes on Ultimate. And if there's one thing Siuhy was able to do was get a ton of value out of Torji. Torji was absolute cheeks when Dexter was IGLing him. I mean, horrible to the point where Torji, everybody thought Torji couldn't play the game of Counter-Strike without Siuhy IGLing him. And then he got with Siuhy again, and then he popped off, and now he just seems like he's found his way. So if there's a IGL that I think could potentially help Ultimate quite a bit, it would be this guy. I'm not gonna go and be like he's the best IGL for operators in the world, but he clearly has done at least something with Torji in the past to really be able to reactivate him again, and hopefully he can do the same with Ultimate. So overall, I like the team a lot. I think I'm actually impressed that Liquid decided to make a move like this. They really didn't have to. I want to put that in perspective. Like, they could have just sat on their ass, man, and farmed some sticker money. But this shows to me that they actually really have real aspirations of not just being like a top 10 team, but they're really trying to figure out how to get more out of their roster. And I think this is a good way to do it. I just really didn't think they had it in them, if I'm being real. I did not think that this would happen until after the major cycle. So it's time to wait and see, but I'm excited. So it looks like they'll be playing PGL Bucharest, which I'll be watching as well.